Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So this is our first Zoom recorded lecture. So I'm trying to share with you all slides so that it will be easier for me to explain the content rather than doing the conventional style mode of recording that I did last time. Okay, so the next topic in our syllabus, this is our fourth topic, I believe. Okay, so we have covered so far the first topic, coercion, and then followed by undue influence, and then we have done misrepresentation. Now the fourth topic is fraud. Okay, so basically this topic is actually very much related to our previous topic, which is misrepresentation that we have covered. Okay, so we'll see what we have here. Okay, so we'll go to the definition as usual. Okay, so how do you define the word fraud? Okay, so this is the rule, okay, governing fraud here. So it may be stated that, okay, whenever a person, okay, usually the one who makes the representation, causes another to act on false representation. So that's the keyword, false, okay, false representation, which the maker himself, the one who said, okay, does not believe it to be true. So in that situation, okay, he is said to have committed fraud. All right, so that's basically how it happens, okay, how it is being committed. Okay, as far as the statute is concerned, remember when we discussed misrepresentation, okay, we refer to section 18. But for this topic, section 17, so we reverse, okay, we go back to section 17, which is actually section 17 is very specific because why? It lists down, okay, a list of acts, okay, in which fraud can be committed. Okay, so in this section 17, if you refer to your Contracts Act, okay, I believe you have it with you. So I just reproduce it here on my slide here. So fraud is defined to include, okay, certain acts, okay, which are committed with intent. Intent is intention, okay, with intent to induce another party to enter into a contract. So if you can identify the keywords here, okay, you can have the words like committed, okay, acts committed, and then intent, induce. Okay, basically that's basically the ingredients, okay, the elements in which is important to prove fraud. Okay, let's move further. Okay, this is just the reproduction of section 17. Okay, you have A until A, B, C, D, E. Okay, all right, that's the ways, okay, in which acts, okay, which might actually amount to fraud. Okay, so it says here, okay, 5 different acts which may constitute fraud. Okay, you have to prove either one, okay, in order to make it a fraud case. All right, the first one, okay, the suggestion as to effects, okay, of that which is not true, okay, not true, by one who does not believe it to be true. Okay, if we were to refresh or we will refer to section 18 last time, okay, especially under the first part of section 18, basically the maker of the statement, okay, they believe it to be true. But for fraud here, okay, the first clause here, all right, suggestion as to facts, okay, what facts here, all right, fact which is not true, false fact here. And then when you say, okay, when the maker says the statement there, okay, actually he does not believe it to be true. Okay, let's say you don't want to prove it under the first clause, so let's move to the second clause. So active concealment of effects, again, it revolves around the facts here. Active concealment of effects by one having knowledge of belief of the facts. Meaning that here, you know about the true facts, okay, but then you try to conceal it, okay, hide it, okay. Later, we have some of the cases in order to show the application, okay, illustration of all the clauses here. Okay, let's say we move further. Okay, for example, number 1 not relevant, 2 not relevant here, A not relevant, B not relevant. So the third one, okay, a promise. Okay, a promise made without any intention of performing it. Okay, whenever you make a promise, of course, normally you have intention to do it. It's like you plan to do it. Okay, but here, whenever you say, okay, it amounts to promise, but without any intention of performing. Okay, of performing the promise. Okay, you don't want to honor the promise. So in that situation, it amounts to fraud. Okay, we skip number 4 first. Okay, we go to number 5. Okay, you have the word any. So it's very broad. It's very general. Any such act, meaning that here, if it's not number 1, 2, 3, 4 here, okay, any such act or omission, meaning that here you do or you don't do, as the law specific, especially, okay, declares to be fraudulent. So we cross-refer to whatever relevant law here. We come back to number 4 here. Okay, this is very broad. Okay, any other act fitted to deceive. Meaning that here it doesn't fall under clause A, clause B, clause C, or it doesn't fall under clause E here. So you can make it, or you can put it under clause D here, right? Any other act fitted, okay, to deceive. So again, the keyword here is deceive, okay, deception. Or in normal or layman term is cheating, cheat, okay? All right, so let's move further. Okay, if you still remember when we discussed the topic misrepresentation, okay, we also discussed about fraudulent misrepresentation. Okay, but you cannot find these phrases in our Contracts Act. Okay, you only can find the word fraud and not fraudulent misrepresentation. So my question now here is whether these words, okay, or these terms right here, are they synonymous? Are they the same? Or are they similar? Okay, all right. So this is basically the answer to it. Okay, the different acts spelled out in section 70 just now. Okay, A, B, C, D, E just now. Okay, to consider fraud. Actually, if you were to compare, would cover fraudulent misrepresentation under the common law. So meaning that here, the term fraudulent misrep here actually it originates from common law, whereas our term fraud, okay, which is being used under Contracts Act under section 17. Okay, let's refresh. We discussed already last time here. Fraud under common law was defined by the House of Lords. So this is decision by House of Lords in the case of dairy and pig. Okay, so how they define the word here? False representation, okay, made, committed knowingly. Okay, it is false obviously, and then you say, okay, knowingly. You know it's not true. Or when you said, okay, false statement just now, without belief in its truth, okay? Or let's say it's not relevant, okay? First one not relevant, second not relevant. So we go to number 3. False representation made, okay, recklessly, careless, whether it be true or false. So meaning that here you are not sure, or you just don't bother, okay? You don't care whether it is true or not. So also it might fall under fraudulent misrepresentation at common law as defined by House of Lords. Okay, we are still comparing the two terms here because usually most of my students, previous students, okay, they are quite confused of how to really differentiate between the two terms here. Okay, if you were to compare, if I were to ask you, okay, which one is wider then? Okay, it's similar, it's quite similar, but if you were to compare with the scope, which one is wider? Which one is easier to prove? All right. So actually, this is our analysis. Okay, here basically from the observation comparison. So fraud in section 17 actually, if we were to compare, actually it is broader, okay, or wider, okay, than the common law meaning of fraud as laid down in the above mentioned case just now. Okay, there are 3 situations under dairy pig, okay, by virtue of dairy pig. But for us, we have A, B, C, D, E. All right, 5 altogether, 5 clauses. Let's move further. Okay, we all do. Are we applying the concept or the rule here in Malaysia? Okay, in Malaysia we have what we call as the test of fraud. How do we tell? How do we determine that fraud exists? Okay, in any cases here, right? So this is the judgment by federal court in the case of Louis Hieng Cheong and Con Action in 1982. So federal court stated that, okay, the test of fraud, okay, is on the act of the defrauder and not of that defraudee, obviously. I mean, we are going to judge based on the act, okay, done, okay, by the defrauder, the cheater, okay, the one who commits fraud. and not we don't care. Okay, I mean we don't judge based on the act of the defraudee, the victim or the plaintiff basically. Okay, right. Okay, and if you still remember, okay, we discussed about position of silence under misrepresentation. So what is the position of silence as far as fraud is concerned? So more or less it's quite similar. Okay, here, so the rule is that okay, mere silence or non-disclosure will not constitute fraud. So normally silence does not amount to misrep, or normally silence does not amount to fraud. But again, we have exception to balance the rule. Okay, there may be certain circumstances under which such silence or non-disclosure may constitute fraud. Okay, and how do we know? Is it applicable here in Malaysia? Because usually the rule originates from common law. So we have specific provision. Okay, so now please refer to explanation to section 17. Okay, so if you read slowly, okay, carefully, all right, this is what you can find from explanation to section 17. Okay, so this is the assumption basically. Okay, circumstances may be such that if it is the duty of the person keeping silence to speak. In that here, if you have the legal obligation to say something, I mean to speak up, but you choose to remain silent. So it might amount to fraud in that particular situation. And this is the example. Okay, actually the rule is similar like misrep. So this may include contracts Berman Fede, we discussed already. Okay, and where there is fiduciary relationship, okay, trust and confidence. And we have illustration B that you can read on your own. Okay, basically that's the example, okay, from the illustration. And then in some other situation, okay, certain other circumstances, silence may be equivalent to speech, like what is being illustrated in illustration C. I mean, you can have a look at your context set. Okay, this is only for your knowledge, okay, so that you will know. Okay, let's say you find the term fraud here in some other topics, okay, legal discussion. Maybe it might give some other interpretation or meanings here. Okay, so the meaning of fraud in cases affecting the validity of the contract, okay, is different from that of fraud affecting indivisibility of title or interest in land law. So this is actually related to your land law. Later you are going to learn, okay, as provided under section 340 of the NLC, National Land Code. You also can find the word fraud, but usually it is only related or it revolves around indivisibility of title. Okay, I mean whoever's name appear on the title on the grant, okay, register of title, usually it is indivisible. You cannot defeat, okay, the ownership of the party. Normally it's like that. Okay, another thing that we are going to discuss under this topic is, that's the question, okay, what is the relation between active concealment, section 17B, okay, all right, and caveat emptor. Remember what is caveat emptor? Okay, that's the meaning, all right. The buyer takes the risk and is responsible for checking. I mean, if you want to buy something, you have to really check, okay, examine before you proceed to buy. Because why? The court or the law imposes such a duty for the buyer, the purchaser, to take whatever necessary measures, okay, in order to avoid being a victim later. Okay, so if we were to read together, okay, situation under section 17B, okay, active concealment, if we were to read with illustration C and D, okay, of section 17, actually it should not be confused, okay, must not be confused with caveat emptor, okay, because why? Okay, generally, okay, silence does not amount to fraud, but provided, okay, alleged party, I mean the defrauder, does not do anything active to hide the information. I mean, you don't do anything, you just keep silent, no active concealment on the defrauder part. But if you were to do something, I mean, if the defrauder does something to conceal it, active, okay, on the part of defrauder, so it might amount to fraud. We don't apply the general rule. Okay, so if you read illustration A and D, refer to your Contracts Act, okay, it shows passive concealment, okay. So basically this is actually in parallel, okay. Actually it tallies with caveat emptor. So it doesn't fall under section 17B because why? For 17B there must be active concealment. something that the defrauder does, okay, in order to conceal, for example, concealing the defects. Okay, and like I said just now, we have section 17D, okay, which is very, very broad. Okay, we call it safety net clause, or another term is catch-all clause, meaning that here you cannot prove your case under A, B, C, or even E. So you have 17D, okay, in order to make it, in order to prove your case under fraud lah. Okay, here, all right, to prevent any fraud, okay, whatever fraud which is not caught by A, B, C, E, all right, any fraud escaping the net of the law. That's why it is safety net clause or catch-all clause. It will catch whatever acts so long there's any elements of fraud, okay, existed. Okay, I think that's all for the first part of the topic fraud. Okay, we are going to continue with another part of the lecture. So hopefully you are able to follow. So till then, see you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.